few blocks and bumps and things in it, trenches. All these shadows cast by the trees. It's a little bit hard to tell what you're about to encounter as you go down. Whoa. G'day, Joe here again. Just showing you some of the tracks that you get to ride on when you've got a mountain bike. Like this one here. This is some of the stuff you get to do, especially when you've got a motor on your bike, like this one here. Now, some of those earlier shots you saw were some of the tracks that you ride on, or that I ride on. Now, I'm not real adventurous. I'm a mid-70s age guy, and I just enjoy this, even at my age. Mind you, I couldn't do some of these hills without having a motor on the bike. They're just a bit too steep. But the old motor's broadened my horizons considerably. Ooh, here we go. There's a creek down here. Suppose I can cross it. Yeah, it's not too bad. And there we go. Down to the bottom. Now, yeah, a couple of other interesting little tracks here amongst the pine trees. I might take this one. There's another one. Never been on it before. Oh, lots of roots. Which way to go? Oh, this is interesting. Oh, look at this. Oh, God. Ah, this goes up. Oh, wow. Woohoo. Yeah, it'll be fun. Smooths out here. That little downhill track. That's it, the end. Oh, okay. Now, the bike's a mountain bike that I've shown on videos before. It's a Siskiyou, a Polygon Siskiyou, and I put a big Fang motor on it with a battery, and you know, homemade job. Do it myself on the cheap. It goes really well. And when you ride these tracks, the old bike takes a bit of punishment, and so what this video is about is a bit of maintenance that you've got to do on your bike. Now, I'm out in the bush, I'm not out in the workshop, so I can't show you all the bits and pieces, but I can talk about it. Now, for starters, I've done over 2,000 k's on this, and I've had nothing go wrong with it. It's been terrific. I've had it for about 7 months, and yeah, everything's original. Well, no, the only thing I've changed is the seat post. I put a dropper seat post on it, which is terrific. Anyway, now the bike's a 27.5 inch wheeler. It's got hydraulic brakes, it's got Shimano brakes, it's got Shimano cassette on it, 11 speed cassette, wherever it is, there it is. I don't use all of the gears because of the chain line on this, where the motor is and the chain gear. It handles 9 of the gears. I don't use the top 2 gears, and I don't need them for climbing. I can climb up pretty well anything with this, with the help of the motor. It's a pedal assist, it's not a torque based machine. But anyway, the sort of things I do regularly is I oil the chain. You got to do that. Every couple of rides I oil the chain. The other thing I do every couple of rides, I clean the suspension, front forks and the rear shocker. I just get the dust off them. You got to get the dust off them, because otherwise you can stuff up your seals there. Dust gets in the seal, so you always get a cloth, clean them, and I even set my little O-ring back down so I can see what sort of travel I've had during the ride. It's got this one's got 120mm travel. It's not a, you know, one of those 180, 200mm travel downhill or enduro bikes. This is a sort of a trail or cross-country bike. The back's got the same. It's got the 120mm suspension, and same with this. You know, clean the shaft, and just make sure that you're always cleaning that, because it keeps the dust from the seals. Otherwise they start leaking oil. What else do I do? I check the slackness of the back wheel. So I check the tension on it, make sure it's not loose. It's got a quick release mechanism down there, and the front one's the same. Always check that the thing's not loose. They do come loose with going over rough stuff all the time. The pressure. Oh, by the way, these tyres are the ones that came with the bike. They're what are they? Schwalbe Smart Sams. Not real classy tyres. They're probably the lowest of the range, but they've been terrific. I haven't had any punctures. I've got a tube in it, and I put some of that slime in there just in case, but I've never had any problems with it. I make sure I regularly check all the bolts on the motor, make sure that everything's tight. The bolts on the pedals down there, you know, you've got to check them quite regularly. The dropper post, the seat clamp here, all the bolts on the handlebars, on the head stem, check all of those. I check that my brakes are always tight. These little bolts here can come loose, you know, through wear and tear. Oh gee, what else? There's not much else. Look at the dust on this. Yeah, look at it. Give it a good clean. Not so much when you're out on the road, but in between rides you do. I would say that's about it. I do regularly check the pressures in the shocks, front and rear, and adjust them occasionally. The damping and the compression, you know, make sure that they're you know, tight enough for my rides. Yep, that's about it. Yes, the message is, you know, when you're doing that sort of riding, and like I say, I don't do the sort of riding that I see some of the guys on YouTube do. They're crazy. I'm too old for that. It's too dangerous. I don't want to die just yet. But I do some rough stuff. And when you do that, you've got to maintain your bike. You just don't go right after ride without checking all the bits and pieces on it, things that come loose. I mean, one of the things that I've had to do on this bike here is the battery. I've had to undersling it because there's no room in here because of the shock absorber, and there's my little tool bag there, all the bits and pieces in it. But anyway, I've had to undersling it, and to make sure it doesn't sort of come off, I've had to strap it. It has got a carrier, battery carrier there that the battery slides onto and locks into, but as extra precaution, because of the roads that I go on, I've got a couple of straps around it, keep it nice and tight. There. Back tyre. Back tyre's getting a little bit warm. The centre ridges there are wearing down quite a bit. That's mainly because it takes all the weight, and most of the braking I do is on the back tyre, so it's worn. I'll have to change it soon. But even so, this kind of road, look at it. Not your best kind of track. Good puncture material, but I've never experienced it. Anyway, that's just a little hint of maintenance things that one has to do on one's mountain bike.